All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, no matter where you are in this lovely, beautiful planet of ours. I am Jonathan Carford, aka Coach K, and it is the 2026 podcast episode season of the GTM AI podcast. I'm so excited because I put out the call on LinkedIn for some friends. We're doing a little bit new format this next year where we get to, as we would say, look behind the curtains of some people's go-to-market AI flows. And I had so many responses that I was like so excited. And one person who I've got to know over the last year is the VP of Go-to-Market at MindStudio.ai, who I am transparently an ambassador for and a huge geek out fan of the tech. Her name is Dannielle Sakher, which I'm so excited to have you. And you are also one of the people that we featured as one of the Momentum 2025 winners of the GTM AI report or winners and the 2026 ones to watch because funny enough, I was not the only one who what was it nominated you. You have 7 or 8 different people saying she's amazing, blah blah blah. And so I was like, we have to feature Dannielle in this list of we had about 55 women, and you were one of the 55 women. I'm just so excited to talk to you. So first, it's so good to have you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So excited to be here. Thanks so much for your partnership over the year. Thanks so much for
Yeah.
continuing to spotlight go-to-market leaders and all the work you do. So thank you. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, good. I'm really excited for today because again, Mind Studio is a freaking cool tech. But you as a person are just nothing but helpful and just you and the team there at Mind Studio is just I'm a fan. So really
Uh,
grateful.
right
Um,
back at
but before we get into the deep stuff of showing the back end and the stuff we want to get into,
you.
I want to know, and the people want to know about you. So you have a background. You used to work at Zapier. You've been over go-to-market systems. You started as partnerships at MindStudio. Now you've gone up to the VP of GTM, which I think is a very smart move on their point. But that's your kind of very quickly your resume. I want to know about you as a human. What is it about MindStudio? What is it about AI? What are you geeking out over? And why is this the thing why is this the path you've chosen to do? Like, give me the human
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, absolutely. I love people and I love winning. And that has lended
Yeah.
itself really well to a career in partnerships and go to market. Being able to work with different people, different teams, different disciplines of teams, different companies is really motivating, really exciting to me. I love meeting new people. You've introduced me to so many cool people. So many people message me after the go to market awards, and I just love that stuff. So it's lended itself
Good.
really nicely in my career. And I love winning, even the small wins, right? Even like getting a response to a cold email or,
Yeah.
making progress on a project. I love the small wins. I love the big ones. I love being able to celebrate a launch or a closed deal. That is just so fun and motivating to me. Better yet, to celebrate the win of a team member and someone else on my team and seeing them thrive. And it's just, there's such tangible wins that are achievable in the game of sales and partnerships and go to market. So it's lent itself really well to my personality and what motivates me and what keeps me going. So that's a little bit about me and
I
why
love
I've
it.
made the moves I've made and where I am right now today. My studio has been like at the like was such a no-brainer. It was at the intersection of all the experiences that I've had.
Right.
I've been in software for 10 years now. Started out at Shopify in the no code space. I've always worked at no code products. Spent a lot of time in automation at Zapier. I was at Grammarly after that, and like the AI communications. And then now MindStudio is at the intersection of no code, automation, and AI. So I'm like, okay, let's lock in. This is going to be fun.
I love it. You like it's such a like you said, it's such a no-brainer pick, not only for you but for them because like you bring so much talent and so much experience that
So sweet.
like it's so cool to see that kind of common of both worlds coming together. I'm curious because a lot of people on the call that use Zapier, and obviously there's nothing wrong with Zapier. I teach Zapier and I love Zapier. But what was it about Mindset that you're like, oh, this is so cool? Tell me the geek side. We'll get into your use cases.
Totally. The AI native approach that MindStudio takes, being able to mix and match the models,
Mhm.
being able to create applications in a way really spoke to me. I've worked at companies now that supported small, medium businesses, very small, medium businesses, solopreneurs. That audience really resonates with me. I've worked with a lot of enterprises, governments. I love that stuff
Mhm.
too, but the solopreneur, the entrepreneurs who has my soft spot. So I saw a really great opportunity for folks to build entire businesses off the backs of the My Studio platform.
Right.
And as a partnership minded person, I was like, okay, we can really easily build an ecosystem around a platform like this.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love it. So let's do into this, if you don't mind me asking, for someone who doesn't know what the heck we're going to get into. You mentioned before, very quick, if you don't mind, in 3 minutes, what are the things that someone would get out of listening to you talking today? What would they get out of taking the time?
Absolutely. What you're going to get today is, depending how far we get, like 3 to 5 different practical AI agents tools, let's just call them tools that you can use within your biz dev flow, whether you're doing sales, partnerships, customer success, corp dev outreach, whatever it is you're doing. If you've got to reach out to someone and ask for something or pitch something, you're going to get a bunch of tools in your toolkit that'll make that process a lot easier and make you a lot
Mm.
better at your job and make you stand out.
I love it. And just for the record, this is not meant to be a MindStudio demo. This is actually legit workflows that you use for the business to build your business. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. That's
these are
right.
things that I've learned in my career over time of like things I was doing anyway that now I'm using
Mhm.
AI to do for me.
Oh, that's even better. I love it. Okay, let's dig in. Where are we starting? What's the first one?
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. That's cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to share my full desktop. So give me a second here for that is all working here. You see my little Mind Studio in the panel here too, yeah?
Yeah, all in one workplace Asana is that what we're supposed to be looking at?
You're looking
And
at
then
asana.com and I've got ready to use agents right here
yep,
at the top
yep,
sidebar. Yep, you're seeing that? Okay,
yep.
great. Okay. I I have a prospect. It's Asana in this case. It could be any website or it could be
Hmm.
any company. Typically, what do we do when we're trying to do some prospecting or research? We might start on their website, see what they're up to. We might go to LinkedIn, find some people who might be relevant to us. There's a number of different places where we might start. I'm going to start on LinkedIn actually. And I've pulled up a couple profiles of folks who might be worth having a conversation with. I've got Kirk here, who's their GM of AI. Maybe I want to reach out about having this on a team use Mind Studio, or maybe we want to do a partnership. Whatever it is I want to do, I'm going to start here and I'm going to try to get in touch. So I've got a couple tools to help me with this. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Kirk's profile here, is I'm going to open up my Mind Studio Chrome extension. This is it right here. I can minimize it if I don't want it in my way. I'm going to open it up because we're going to be using a bunch of agents over here. And I'm going to
Hmm.
click my LinkedIn Connection Crafter agent. What this is doing is it's going to ask me my networking goal. I'm going to say, let's partner with Asana. I work at MindStudio. This is like not really a super descriptive goal.
Right, right.
But
Super simple prompt. Yeah.
we're gonna let the agent do the work for me here. I'm lazy. I don't want to do the work. So what this has done is it's taken in Kirk's profile and it's done a bunch of different messages that I could do to add to my connection request,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that it's personalized. It considers the networking goal that I have in mind, and it becomes a shareable asset. So I can copy this right away. I'm going to actually go ahead and send this over. Might as well get some work done while we're on this call, and I can click share here. Let's say
Let's get some work. Might as well. Let's see if we can book a call on the call. That'd be sweet.
exactly. I'm gonna set this as public, and I'll share this with you guys as an asset too, so you see how it was created. But let's say I'm not the right person to reach out to Kirk. Maybe I want our CEO Dimitri to actually do that outreach for me and do a GM to CEO outreach. I can just say, hey, Dimitri, see this link here. There's this guy named Kirk at Asana. Here's his LinkedIn profile. I want you to reach out to him. Here are a couple options.
Hmm.
So this becomes a really easy way for us to do prospecting and networking over LinkedIn. I've got another way here. And what you notice with these options, just before I get on to that next tool that I'm going to show off, is they're all within the character count, that 300 character count limit that LinkedIn has in that connection request. So you don't have to have in mails if you don't have them. It'll fit just
Right,
within
right.
that connection request. And how does it do that? It's because we prompted the agent to do that. So I'll show you what the agent looks like on the back end real quick before I head over to another option that's very similar to this one, but got a few nuances here. So we are going to make a copy of this agent. This agent is available for anyone to use if you have a MindStudio account. If you want to customize it, like it'll work out of the box, but if you want to customize it, you're going to go ahead and make that copy and then do so. Right now, this is using that networking goal. It's going to ask you every time what that networking goal is because, again, this is available to everyone. We don't know what your goals are. So tell us and
Right,
then
right.
we'll generate the response. You could also hard code this in. If I can have a version of this agent that says, hey, like I work at MindStudio, I lead go-to-market efforts. I'm trying to sell MindStudio into the field, or I'm trying to generate new partner opportunities with tech companies, software companies out in the field. I can just hard code that in and just eliminate this step entirely. I won't do that in
Right.
this case. I do want to just show you guys the prompt here. We've got it's really simple. You don't have to worry about some of the formatting stuff at this point. We can just read the natural language that we can all read together, and you can get a
Right, right,
sense of what this agent is doing. It's writing 3 possible connection requests using the networking goal. It's then just formatting it all together nicely with everything that you just saw, the name, the job title, company, the LinkedIn link, and then it's outputting the 3 options all together. And then it's just saying, hey, like your job is to write the best possible connection request.
right,
And
right.
this is, focus on the human, focus how we can work together. Really simple prompt. I might want to say that, hey, I'm the type of person, I use really casual and confident language. You might want to
Right.
bake that in. You might want to say, make sure not to mention any of their competitors in the outreach. I don't want to scare them off or spook them. There's a number of things that you might want to add here to make the request better and more like you and more aligned with your goals. So that's a little bit about what's happening on the back end. This is a really simple agent, like a 2-step agent here. This could be 100 steps, right? I don't think you should have a 100-step agent for a LinkedIn connection crafter, but you might for an end-to-end agent that automates an entire process. We won't go into those today, but all those are interesting and possible scenarios. So that's the first agent I got. Jonathan, anything you want to poke me
Yeah,
on, or how are we doing so far?
I want to double click in this because the Mind Studio on the back end has access to through the LinkedIn API. So, for example, it's not just reading the stuff on public information, like it has access through LinkedIn, so that when you click on it via the Chrome extension, you're getting the API data from that example, which makes it really powerful, I think. Because otherwise, it's like a custom GPT, for example, because you don't have access to LinkedIn, you have to like copy paste something in, or you have to do something to give it context, because otherwise you don't have access. So I think that's one of the more powerful things around this is you have that access already, and as a user, it's so easy to actually go in, opt it in, and then move on with your day. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good point. And this agent in particular doesn't use any of our LinkedIn blocks.
Oh, cool.
It's actually just using our browser extension, which on any page that you're on, we're going to look at more we're going to look at actually only browser extension agents as we're going on here. It's just ingesting everything that's on this page, which is this person's profile, which is Kirk's profile here. So we don't need to play around with any of those
Cool.
blocks. We don't need to know how to use any of those blocks. All we need to do is set the trigger here to be browser extension, and then it pulls all of that stuff for us.
I love it. Let's keep going. Because you said one thing I love too to kind of tease everyone, the flow she's going to take us through is a flow that each step builds on each other. So this is obviously the foundation. We're going to keep on going. So let's
Yes,
keep going. What's next?
exactly. Okay. I've got another profile that I found that could be a good fit for me to talk to. We've got Alex here. He's in support ops, looking at tools and automation at Asana. So, you might I reached out to Kirk. Maybe I hear back, maybe I don't. We've got a multi-thread here. So
Hmm.
let's go ahead and reach out to Alex as well. We could use our LinkedIn connection crafter. That'll work here, but maybe I didn't hear back from Kirk. Maybe I want to, go a little deeper, go do a little bit of a better pitch here. So I've got a agent that I pulled up here. It's called Rewrite Pitch. I'm going to keep the pitch really, really kind of not great right now. Just, hey, Alex, you should use MindStudio to build AI agents for your support team. Dannielle. Not a type of pitch I would personally send out. Maybe I should try it.
All
Might
right.
work.
Yeah, let's try it.
But we'll let the agent actually make this a ton better. So what this is doing is it's not just what's happening here. People are like, oh, why can't I just put that into ChatGPT and ask for a better pitch rewrite? We
Right, right,
actually
right.
can do that. I do that from time to time when I'm in a pinch. That's not what this agent is doing. What this agent is doing is it's going and scraping the web for information about that's relevant to this person. What is Asana doing in their support operations? What types of tools are they using for automation? It's doing a bunch of research on the back end and bringing in social proof as well to make this pitch really strong and really resonate with the person. So that's why it's actually taking a bit of time here, because it's doing all that work on the back end. So we'll give it a couple more seconds here and we'll see what we got. So it puts our original pitch up front so we can see that before and after. And it goes,
Hmm.
hey, Alex, senior AI certifications and focus on tools and automation at Asana. I immediately thought of you. MindStudio's AI agents are perfect for further streamlining support operations, like automating your CRM updates or enhancing your knowledge base. It could build on the 1,200 hours you've already saved. And then it recaps here the edits that were made. So it's referenced his role, his certifications that he has, connected to the value of some of his past achievements, and then it suggested specific use cases for him. So I like that. I'll go ahead and flip that over to Alex again. We'll just get some work done here and we'll report back, see if we got any hits here. The
Yeah, what would
idea
be
here,
cool is if he reports live before the show.
yeah,
That'd be rad.
that would be cool. And the idea here is maybe for fun here, we sent this as it was. Maybe I wanted to make a few tweaks to match
Sure.
my style, or there's some things that weren't mentioned. This is a generic agent, so this agent is just taking what it knows about Mind Studio from its search that it did in the back end. There's probably things I should like actually include in the agent itself, right? If we went in and just to show that the patterns here, if we went in and made a copy, I should probably go into the prompt here and let's just go to the new pitch.
Yeah,
I should
this one's obviously more complicated than the last one you showed us,
And
which is
it's
great.
actually the only reason why it's more complicated is just that we have a few different ways you can trigger this agent. One
Cool.
of which is from the Chrome extension, which we just use when you're on a page. It'll just take what's on the page and use it. We also allow you to upload by a doc or just say, hey, here's my pitch, just as almost like in an application. Hey, here's my pitch. So the agent, like the actual work doesn't really start until this generate
Mm,
topic step. So
mhm.
it looks complicated, but it's not really doing a whole lot until the end. It's just giving you the
Right.
user different ways to trigger it. So all that to say is that if I wanted to hard code some information about Mind Studio in here, this would be one of the places I could do so in the prompt. Not this prompt, actually, this is on generating research topics, but more so
Right.
in this step here around the actual creation of the pitch. So those are a couple of the agents that I use at the outreach phase, my rewrite pitch agent and my LinkedIn connection crafter agent. I've got more, like assuming I've booked a meeting at this point, I've got a couple more agents that are helpful at this stage that I'd love to
Mm.
show you as well. But I'll pause quick unless there's anything you want me to dig into.
Yeah, let's talk about the go-to-market side of this. So obviously using this to
Sure.
connect and then to reach out to people, like what has been your response rate? Have you seen an increase? What's been the result as using this? So one would be just your time and how
Yes.
obviously I'm guessing you're faster. And secondly,
Yes.
is it gleaning you better results? Because I can't tell how many people that use some sort of AI tech. It might be just be like a custom GPT and doesn't
Yeah.
help them at all, you know? So tell me
Totally.
about the results side.
Totally. For me, it's velocity is big, right? This type of stuff is a numbers game, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like the whole like analogy of the knocking on the doors
Right.
standpoint. There's only so many. It's really important to my values. I don't send blind connection requests. I always include that message. That's just my
Mm.
style. If I connect with a person blindly, I don't even remember why I wanted to connect with them in the first place. And if they accept, then I got it. Then I have to remember after. And like these
You
LinkedIn
remember yourself.
automation these LinkedIn automation tools, we've tried them in the past. It hasn't really worked for us. So this is a way that I can scale out relationship building. And that is like one of the things that is hardest to scale out. So if I can do that at a higher velocity, I know that I'm going to see better results just by nature of having more in the funnel to begin with.
Cool. I like it. So in essence then, and I don't know if you know this much granular data, but I'm very curious because like I track everything.
Mhm.
Have you done any like side by side comparison of saying something effective? Okay, for the month of, let's just say last year in 25, in July, all you did was the old school way. And then you implemented this. Like, what was the number one volume? What's the
Mhm.
response rate? If you have done anything that minuscule as far as the measuring of how it performs?
We move really quickly. The tracking can slow us down a little bit. I do track that. I
Yeah.
do track how many times, like I do track the usage of these agents at a workspace level and at a user, like me as a user as well as our team as a workspace. How often are the people on my team using this? And then we also track the usage of this at the Mind Studio community based level because these agents are available to everyone. So
Yeah.
we can see that these are some of the most popular agents within our ecosystem, even though they're quite specific to a particular domain. A lot of our other agents are very horizontal, kind of
Right.
all-purpose TLDR agents and things like that. So these
All
ones
right.
do get quite a lot of usage, even though they are a little bit more niche. Doesn't answer your question specifically,
It's
but
okay. I get it
give
because
you a sense of
I'm in a
scale.
startup and I don't, to be fair, I don't track literally everything. There's something like, I want to see how this performs. For
Yeah,
example, I'm making blogs with different agents to see
yeah,
how they perform. And so I know which ones are agent created and
totally.
I'm tracking them to see, okay,
Nice.
this one's fully human. This is human and AI, and this is pure AI, how they're
Yeah,
performing. There's things like that. But I don't track. I mean, when I say track everything, I don't track everything. I track the things I want to see if it's working.
totally.
I was just curious if you did anything that minuscule, which is okay if you haven't. I'm just
I would
curious.
love to. It's a great thought. It's an important thought. My tracking these days is it done? Yes or no?
I understand
That's where
that.
I'm at right now. which speaks to a little bit about, kind of the different irons we have in our on the fire at this point. But I do love that kind of stuff. And I get that question a lot too. So it's a prompt for me to run the numbers and report back.
We need to get you a Mind Studio that just tracks what you're doing and give you
Oh my
results
gosh.
automatically.
Okay, that's for the next podcast
There you
episode.
go. Next podcast, tracking of stuff. Okay, keep going. So number three. So you
Okay.
have connection, then you have pitch, message, whatever. What's the next step?
Okay. So let's say I've got a call booked with these folks. Finally, after all the pitch optimizations, all the different LinkedIn outreach, I got a meeting booked. What am I going to do ahead of that meeting? I'm going to do my research. I can confidently say that, early on in my career, research really took me a lot of time. I prided myself on being really overly prepared for these calls, and it allowed me to stand out. But it could often, depending on how many calls I had that day, several hours upwards to actually fully research who the person was, what they're doing, what the company was up to, latest news, who's their product for. It really added up over time to present myself to the standards that I started to be known for.
Right,
So
right.
this cheat sheet generator agent replaces all that for me, brings down the research time to 2 minutes of passive work, which means what I mean by that is I click this button here. You guys saw me open up the agent. It looked at this page. It saw a couple different company names on this page. So it just wanted to confirm which one I was talking about. I clicked Asana. And now this is going to work putting together a one pager for me on all the things that I want to know and seek to learn before getting into a call with a prospective partner, prospective customer,
Nice.
VIP account, whoever it is I need to talk to. I can do this in between meetings and get a glass of water, go for a washroom break, and then I come back and see my report. It does take a
But
couple minutes to
question
run.
for you. As you're doing this, is there a way, and I don't know this, so please forgive me if I don't know this, it might be a dumb question. This obviously requires you as a human to go in and click the button and then do the thing. Does MindStudio have an integration to like Outlook or
Yes,
Gmail? So you say, I have a meeting coming up, just run the freaking thing for every meeting I have, so you don't have to worry about clicking the button. Is that do that?
absolutely. So what I could
Nice.
do is have this agent run while I sleep, right? It could say, hey, okay, today's Monday. For Tuesday, what meetings does Danielle have on her calendar? Which companies is she meeting
Hmm.
with?
Hmm.
It can go and run those reports for me, and then it'll be on my desk for 8 a.m. the next day. I can look at all of them and be ready for the meetings that I have that day. So absolutely you can trigger these agents out on a schedule. I like to do it by the Chrome extension just because I typically, when I start my research, I typically start on their website anyway and I start poking around. I just like to see how they're positioning themselves. So it works for my workflow, but you absolutely could trigger it based on a schedule or even just typing in the company's name. It doesn't really matter. So here's the cheat sheet that I got. I have the industry, I have when they were founded. So, I know they're not a new company. I have their CEO here. I love to name drop when I'm in the call. I'm like, oh, is this a priority for leadership? What does Dan think about this? So I have the CEO's name ready to go on here. The company size, what didn't get pulled here, we can see if we go into the references after, we might be able to find it. But in the few minutes that it takes to research, if it finds it, great. If it won't, it'll put the report anyway. It won't get blocked. We have it set up that way. So that's fine. I might want to just rerun it again or just quickly look if I do a Google search if I'm missing anything. And then we have
Nice.
their total funding. We have financing, customer counts. We know that I can understand their scale, any recent activity. So we see that, this year they experienced some market volatility. Okay, how can I use that to my advantage? What is their go-to-market strategy? Does it align with our go-to-market? If we're trying to look at a partnership together, are we going to
Hmm.
market in the same way? Well, and that might be good. And that we also might want to be different in the sense that we can, for folks who are maybe sales led, they can help us attract different customers than if we were product led. What is their pricing model? Who's their ICP? Key strengths, their key customers. I think about like when I see their key customers, if there are any that we share, I can use that as a bit of a bonding moment. Oh, do you know so-and-so from XYZ company? Oh, here are your competitors. Oh, we actually work with 80% of the ones that I see here. This gives me a lot that I can refer to and reference on the call. And again, if I'm missing anything from here, or if I want to go deeper on any of these points, I have all my references below that I can poke into. I love being able to share this as a shareable asset as well,
That's
because
cool.
if there's anyone joining me on the call, maybe other members of the leadership team, maybe a solutions engineer or something like that, I can just flip this over to them and say, hey, here's a quick briefing on who we're meeting with later today.
I'm wondering, to your point of the calendars, like my mind always goes to how do you automate this? Like, is there a world that exists that, like, depending on this, to say Google Calendar and you had internal team members, or maybe it's a Slack Teams group or something. Is there a way you think the world would be automated to where this report automatically gets shared? And then second question would be, is there a way to mix both this information? Because as the deal progresses, you have information from the past conversations. Does it mix together both external third party data with the first party data and then help inform the rest of the teams to say, in stage, not that you have this complex of a sales
Yeah.
process, let's just say you have, because a lot of my people listening do, to where at the third call, you have a sales engine, a solutions person come in, maybe the CEO, because it's Asana for Pete's sakes, right? So it's like, is there a way to automate it to where the report takes the context like this and the last calls and then brings them everything? How does that work usually?
Absolutely. We're a HubSpot user internally at MindStudio. We've got a
Cool.
ton of HubSpot blocks built into our platform. You
Yeah.
could very easily pull data from HubSpot, combine it together, say, okay, we maybe have company overview, strengths, kind of just basic research. And then maybe we have a section here at the bottom that says activity that we've had so far, maybe some of the past calls that we've had, summaries from them, etc. So absolutely, you could really take this far. We could definitely, you could definitely have steps after that. Well, okay, who's joining that meeting? Send this briefing to everyone ahead of that meeting. For me, I try to automate the steps that take me the most time. Sending this as a link in Slack doesn't really take me a lot of time. That takes me like a second.
Yeah,
Doing like
totally. I get it.
doing a bunch of robust research and putting together a one pager and thinking about what's the most important things to add in there. That's the thing that actually that could take hours.
Right.
So that's the I try to automate the points of friction, and then everything else you could, once you start to realize what your process is and the things that are really
Mm.
repeatable, absolutely bake those in. But for me, I always start with what's going to save me the most amount of time.
I love it. So it's really just looking at, here's my question for you, because obviously I totally 1,000% agree with reducing friction, what takes the time, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I also think the other side of it is like, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but I hear a lot how people say, let's just throw AI at something, but it's
Yeah,
not necessarily a problem that aligns to the outcomes or the revenue goals you're trying to go after.
yeah.
So it's a cool workflow, but it's not impacting revenue. You know what I mean? And not that it's the case with you, because you're obviously doing things that helps you become better. But like, how do you balance that side of, yes, I want to reduce friction, but also this is going to help me get more revenue? How do you balance that?
It's a good question. I think what I just shared is a big part of it. Is like you also, automation is cool, AI is cool.
Mhm.
You could spend all day playing in these tools and building
Right.
different use
Very
cases, and
easily. Yes.
like very easily. It's very addicting. It's very
Yeah.
fun. I'd love if I had the time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm usually do a lot of these times I'm building these agents like after hours at times, right? Just
Right.
we're all stretched really thin right now, and I totally I can appreciate folks who are in a position that way.
Right.
For me, it's about, okay, if I find myself doing things that take me away from like revenue driving activity, which is being out in the
Mm.
field, talking to customers, talking to potential partners, talking to people who could help us go further, those are the things I want to automate. My next use case is like exactly one of those things. It is
Well,
once you get
let's
to the
dig in.
it's
Yeah.
once you get to the contract stage. We're going to look at their user terms of service for now, because
Right.
I'm not going to I'm not going to be in the business of showing any live contracts that we have on the go with our customers, but we'll just
Right.
we'll use our imagination. We'll pretend this is an actual contract here. This is something that is so important as a BD person.
So
Is to
back up a second, make sure I'm here.
yes,
So what you obviously you don't want to show, I totally get that. But
yes,
the use
yes,
case you're saying is Asana, you want to send a contract to Asana,
yes.
or they're
Or
sending you
they've
back
sent us
grid
one.
lines, right? Yeah.
We often work off of our partners MSAs, or our customers
Right.
MSAs, just to move things quicker along the line, especially if we're working with a
Yeah.
larger company. That's just going to make things faster. So we are often sent over a big fat MSA, 20 pages that we now need to review.
Hmm.
Or, like let's say we're just going and partnering with like Asana partner terms, and we're just going off their standard partner program. You might just want to have a look of, okay, what's going on in the partner program, what are we agreeing to
Right.
by doing this click through, right? So in
Yep.
any case, I've had this running on their user terms of services here as an example. This is something that I would do before, as we're in the contract negotiation stages of different partner deals or different sales deals. This was super time consuming for me. I was always in the mindset of, hey, I need to make things really easy for my stakeholders to digest, whether that's my legal
Mm.
stakeholders, leadership. And if I just flop them over a big, massive, like, contract, they're like, okay, thanks, Dannielle, thanks for nothing. So what I would do, so this is exactly
Right.
the template I would use for sending things
Oh,
over
cool.
to my stakeholders. I
Yeah.
would put the terms so that they can refer back to it after. Our as much summaries that I do, my legal team is going to read that thing from end to end. So we put the original source here. What is this contract for? So why am I bothering you with this? What do we need
Mhm.
unblocked here? What are the key red flags at the top? And then what are some of the other things that I know my team is going to ask for? I know my team is going to ask for information about limitation of liability. I know they're going to ask for information about indemnification. What
Mhm.
is the term? What does it actually mean for us? And then should we try to negotiate on it? And if so, what should we negotiate? We can sort here by risk. So I can, if I just want to ignore some of the low risk stuff and just focus on the high risk stuff, I can do that. And then I have a sense of, okay, how many high risk items even are there, right? Is this going to
Yeah.
be a tricky contract for us? So this is something, again, shareable asset, right? So I can go flip that to our leadership team, focus on the compliance side of things, the legal folks, anyone who is going to be a decision maker on, hey, do we actually move
Right.
forward with a contract or not? And it's already done half the work for me here. Sometimes this is enough. Sometimes I should go back and actually read through a little bit more, depending on what other due diligence steps are in place. Maybe I know I have that in-house counsel that's going to go through and with a fine-tooth comb. That's great. Maybe I don't have
Mhm.
that. Maybe I'll spend a little bit more time in the contract, but then I already have this summarized or at least started summaries. Maybe I go back on my own and find a few more things that I want to add to this list that the agent didn't pick up. That's great. But I still have all the template here and the framework where the half the work or more than half the work has already been done for me. So
This makes me want to run this on the new TikTok terms or on Facebook or
you should.
that
And
and see that
and
stuff. Yeah.
Jonathan, I don't want to lose sight of your original question, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is something that would have taken me so much time and taken me away from the field
Right.
that now I don't have to do, but it's still very much a part of my job and still very much what my team is expecting of me as a biz dev person, as a go-to-market person. Now it's off my plate and I can spend more time talking to customers, talking to folks, leading my team, and all the other things that are actually going to move the needle for us.
Yeah. Before you go into the next one, you mind showing the
Yeah,
back end of this? Because I'm curious of what the
sure.
context engineering was you did for this to make sure, because this is really good stuff that's obviously specific to Mind Studio. I'm just curious of what was in the guts, I'm just curious,
Sure.
mind me asking.
Absolutely. And this is
But
all stuff that's very specific. As we went into this agent, as we built this agent, this was all stuff that was things that I picked up in my time and in my
right,
career. You might have
right,
other things that you want the agent to pick up on, right? So when it's doing this analysis of the contract, I was like, hey, you better pick up stuff on the term. You better pick up stuff on indemnification. You better pick up on LOL. You better make sure you tell me about, can I use their logo or not?
right,
Is there exclusivity? Like these are things that I am always like I'm doing like a command F every time I'm in a contract being like, what's the term on this? What's the term on that? There might be things that you really care about. Add them here, right? Add them to this prompt.
yeah,
Make sure that it's being considered.
yeah, that's really
And
cool.
but
I love it.
otherwise the flow is really simple. It's doing the analysis here, it's generating the asset, and then it's showing it back to the
And
user.
display.
So not super complex from the flow itself, but definitely there is a lot of meat that's going into the analysis of it.
I love it. Oh, you keep going. Then before we leave you,
Yeah,
I actually have two questions to ask you, but let's keep going.
sure.
You have the fifth one. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. This is the last one. So we'll get to those questions very soon. I do this one at the end, but it's actually something I run more in the outbound pitch phase. This is my launch teaser agent. This is like a little BD hack that I've just done over the
Yeah.
years. This is an agent that is doing a couple things. It's taking the website that I'm currently on, so it knows I'm on sauna.com. It asked me for my company's URL, which I put in MindStudio.ai. And it's saying, okay, what if these two companies got together? And it's putting together a launch plan with
Mm.
a headline, a press release, a sample tweet saying, hey, these two companies are working together. Look at this. This
Oh,
is so
cool.
cool. What I like to do with this thing is send it to folks in like my outbound. I like to say, and this will take a couple seconds to come together because it's doing a bunch of research, but this is what we can expect after it wraps up. We have the launch summary, excited to announce this new partnership between MindStudio and Asana. MindStudio plus Asana deploy custom agents directly within your projects, no code needed, mock press release. It has like quotes in here from Dimitri, our CEO, and quote from Alex Hood here, the CPO at Asana. It feels real, it
Yeah.
feels exciting. So I'm like, hey,
That's fun.
I again, shareable link, right? So if I copy this, I drop this in my outreach, this could be us if we partner together. This could be us in 30 days if we start working on this together today, right? So this is something, again, there's so much noise. I feel across industries right now. I don't think that's unique to AI. I think all industries right now are feeling that there's a lot of noise, a lot of competition. How can
Right.
you stand out? How can you stand out in your outreach? And maybe that's not a launch release for you. Maybe that's something else. Maybe that is maybe you're an SEO company and you're going to do a one-page SEO audit on a potential prospect, or, whatever it is. Think about what that might
Hmm.
be you can think about what that might be for your industry. And instead of having to do a custom version of that for every single prospect, you can run an agent that'll do it for you. So I think like it's where all this stuff comes in for me is how do I automate my secret sauce? These are the types of things that would help me stand
Yeah.
out in my BD efforts. And now I don't just do BD, right? Like now I'm leading an entire go-to-market team. I don't have the time to do all these hacky, fun
Right.
things to stand out.
All these
But I
things. Yeah.
still want to do them because that's what's helped me been successful. And that's what's helped me stand out. And I also want to empower my team to be able to do that kind of stuff. So that's what agents like this help me with and allow me to do the things that have made me be successful, but took that time, took that energy, took that a little bit of thought and creativity and really scale that out.
Yeah. You know what's funny is it's things like this that, like with Momentum, for example, we automate obviously CRM data entry to deep Salesforce integrations, and it's a very dumb, piddly do thing. But once you release humans from doing that, you get really good data across the board and they can actually go sell.
Yeah,
So I love that you're thinking around how do I get the things that doesn't help me actually either reach out to or develop relationships and how do I automate that? So I'm going to assume I mean, this is just my guess, but if you had, let's just say, for example, the normal person of 25% revenue gen activity times, and all this crap you showed me was getting out of the way, you probably at least have double the time now to do what you would have done before, which means you should automatically have more business as a result for just one person, right?
that's
Which is
exactly
cool.
how we're thinking about it. Yep,
Yeah,
you got
that's
it.
really cool. I know, like, I remember Dimitri, who's the CEO, showed me like one of the
Yes.
things he did was one of the customers used it for a really cool in-depth newsletter, which is awesome.
Mm,
What have been some of the, from a go-to-market perspective,
yes.
what do you think is the most impactful things you've seen happen outside of Mind Studio that you're like, that's freaking cool, but it obviously wouldn't work because of a size or the industry or whatever the case is?
That's a really good question. I think there's really cool stuff happening with voice right now and
Yeah,
voice agents, whether it's for like actual sales or customer support. I was talking with a company the other day that has completely automated their like appointment booking system with a voice agent. I
cool.
love it. You can definitely hack together some voice agents with Mind Studio, but there are other platforms that's just their bread and butter. I think that's really cool. And I think there's like a novelty to it. I don't know that necessarily this will be the way that bookings
Yeah,
happen or sales happen, but I think like people are surprised when they hear a really natural sounding agent on the other side of it and that's really
right.
reactive and expressive. So people aren't hanging up, right? They're actually talking
True.
and saying, hey, if I agree to a meeting, will it actually end up on my calendar? So I think that's really interesting. There's one voice agent, Bordy, that I think is really cool.
What is
It's
cool.
Bordy's super cool. And I was just like chatting with it, just like gushing and slapping. That's such a delightful experience. So
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely see more of that. Again, what will it last? Will it stick? Don't know. Might not. But in the meantime, I think it's a fun novelty.
In my opinion, I think it's going to go the way of voice, and nothing against Avatar because I have friends who run some really cool Avatar businesses. But like
Mm,
I always think of Marvel as far as AI future, and like when you think about how Tony talked to Jarvis, it was all voice, and then you have hologram and screens and all sorts of stuff. But the voice, it was led by him just speaking.
yes,
So I've
I
always
love it.
kind of felt like that was the direction we would go eventually, but we'll see. So let me
I
ask
love
you,
it. And I was gonna say, I just want to add one
yeah,
more thing to
please
that. I've been
tell me.
obsessed with Whisper Flow recently.
Oh
Whisper
yeah, I
Flow,
love Whisper Flow. Yeah,
and I wish, like, I was like, if I could implant like a Whisper Flow into like my brain,
yeah.
and just like when I'm doing laundry, be able to shoot someone a text or send myself an email just based off of my voice, I would love that.
I know.
So
That's
I
where they're
guess
going with, Elon Musk's, brain, whatever
totally,
thing.
totally,
Yeah.
totally sign me up.
With you, what are the things you can share coming in
Mhm.
26 from Mind Studio? What are you guys excited about? What's the next level for you guys that people can you that
Yeah.
you can share?
I'll share what I'm really excited about. And I know you're really familiar with our education play and our education as a go-to-market angle for us.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people know they need to use AI in their business. They know that there's a lot of upside here. don't know where to start, don't know how to use these tools. Folks who've used a Zapier and Aiden before, MindStudio is going to be like a piece of cake. But people are really waking up to the fact that automation is even a thing because of
Right.
consumer AI tools like a ChatGPT, like a Claude. People are using I guess, yeah, like an automation tool as a consumer
Yep.
for the first time and just now realizing, oh, wait, there might be business applications here. And everyone else is, okay, great, welcome, welcome to the party. Like we've been waiting.
Right.
But all that to say is that there's a huge education gap. People are being promoted into AI, like head of AI roles, or trying to get promoted
Right.
into head of AI roles,
Right.
and without the education, without the know-how. So we've been running a number of different formats of boot camps to get people up to speed. And that's been really great as a go-to-market channel for us. One, it's a revenue driver. These are boot camps that people pay to be at. And then two, from a stickiness perspective, once you actually know how to use the platform, you're going to be that much more likely to use it, not just use it, but use
Yeah.
it effectively and use it in new ways and discuss and uncover new use cases that are going to support your business. So I love our boot camps. I'm excited to double down here. We have a lot planned with how we want to grow that program, and we
Yeah.
think it'll have. We already are seeing that downstream effect to our platform as well. Someone joins a boot camp, they're like, "This is amazing. I want to go. I need to bring in my whole team on this." That creates a new enterprise contract for us and stronger relationships. So we're already seeing those downstream effects across other areas of the business, and I think
Mm,
there's a lot more just like fuel we can throw onto this and see a lot of
I
growth
love
from
it. I've promoted a couple of the things last few times, like some of my higher engagement. I do some of the sometimes the comment get this thing, and twice I did the boot camps, and both times it like blew up. It's like, oh, I want to go. So it's like I know
There's a
I
real
have a lot of
demand.
people. Yeah, there's a lot of people who have come through the boot camps that I know came through because of myself, and I have a couple of buddies who do the same thing. They've done a good job of promoting you guys, which I love because like even though obviously the academy is meant for education, I'm like, I don't care where education comes from, just go freaking learn, you know? And
And we've
platforms are the greatest place to get it from because you have the experts in the platform
totally,
showing how to do things, you know?
totally. And there's
So
there's there's a lot of courses out there, tutorials, school community.
yeah,
Like, there's a lot of places to get education. Just find what works, whether it's a My Studio Bootcamp or not. Go find what works for you and do
yeah.
it because you'll take something away. There's so much new stuff coming out of this space. It really doesn't like matter how you're getting your hands dirty with this stuff as long as you're doing it.
Well, one last question. Do you see a world where, like Zap, you can go in and describe what you want and it builds the automation? Do you see that world coming from MindStudio where it's, I want to, agent does this and then brrr, it just builds out the back end for
Yep,
you?
it's already
Yeah.
there. So I can show
Oh, it
you if you
is?
give me
Nice.
yeah,
I didn't
if
know.
you give
This is
me
new because I didn't know this.
if you give me a half second, I'll show you.
Yeah, show me.
Okay.
This world is like what blows my mind. I love this stuff. So,
I love it too. This is like for what like between us and the whole rest of your audience, this is the only way I build agents. I'm so lazy. And that's just, that's just my style.
I don't know if lazy is the right word. I think you're
I'm
busy
so
is the
efficient.
better
I'm
word.
so
Yeah.
efficient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to our flow here. Oops. Main flow here. And we've got our generated agent in the corner here.
Oh, look at
And
that.
so let's do a one page generator based on a company. I will tell you the company in a user input. I'm like using some of the language of our platform. You don't have to do that, but because I
Okay.
know some of that language, it's going to build it better and it's going to build it more to my spec. Make sure to include info about their customers, pricing model, competitors, etc. Keep it short. Okay, so that's what I want my agent to do. Like you see, I have typos in here. It doesn't matter, right? This is gonna
Yeah.
go and refine this for me. So it's gonna say, okay, that's cool. That's what you're looking for. Either it's gonna say I'm good to go, or it's gonna say, and look, it said it's good, so it's good to go here. If
Bam. Yeah.
if you're if you're new to Mind Studio or you're new to prompting, it might say, hey, you know what? I need a couple more inputs from you before I go and start to build this thing. But I think luckily I prompted it well enough, and we got to see
Yeah.
that live. It went ahead with it. So this is what we're seeing right now. This is like the actual agent that is building out this flow. So it's Mind Studio on Mind Studio. It's a Mind Studio agent that's building this Mind Studio agent. So
I
it's
love
saying,
it.
okay, here's the proposal. It's gonna, I told it to give me a user to give it to start with a user input. So that's what it's doing. Gonna do a Google search. It's gonna generate the text, which is the one pager itself, and then format it up, clean it up, and then we're done here. I can, look at the variables. I don't care too much. I'm going to just go ahead and build it, and it's going to go and do that for us. So it's it's done what we're seeing here is we just had a checkpoint. The checkpoint was, do you like this spec or not? So now it said, hey, the user liked the spec. Now I'm actually going to go and
Yeah.
build agent. So it's going to take some time and do that. And then I'm going to get a ready to go agent after. If I want to tweak and edit that agent, that's great too. But I should have an agent that's ready to go, ready to use by the end of this flow. And if I want to go and do something else, I can just click this tab here and get notified when it's all finished. And then it'll send me an email when my agent's done. Especially
Yeah.
if it's a more complex agent, might take a little bit more time. This one's not really that complex, shouldn't take too long, but I can always come back to it.
See, I didn't know you could do this. This must have been because I pay attention to your CTO's announcements on LinkedIn. I must have missed this because I was like, I'm waiting for when the agent can be like, so I'm like, I'm peaked. I'm gonna go play with this now.
We don't talk about it enough. And you know why, Jonathan? It is not such a beginner friendly tool. You have to kind of be good at prompting and understanding the product
Yeah.
to give it something useful. So what
Yeah.
can happen is that if new users start to use this thing, we end up getting a lot of support debt because of it. Like you would think it's actually the opposite. You think that if new users come in, they don't even need to learn how to build agents, right? They can just go straight to
Right.
it. But then you just start asking for things that aren't really logically sequential, or like don't quite make
Yeah.
certain sense. So that's why we almost intentionally by design not put it straight up in your face. But it is for someone like yourself who has that familiarity with the tool and is an expert on the space. Will be awesome for you. So
That's
we
cool.
as we were chatting, I was just going and running the agent that was generated for me. I asked for the one pager on Salesforce, and it's gone ahead giving me an overview, giving me their target customers, their pricing model, key competitors, and then some additional information. You can see
Nice.
how this is different from like my one pager that I showed earlier, right?
Right.
I really
Right.
wanted something very specific out of that output, and that's why I designed my cheat sheet generator in that way. This is my output based off of that very simple prompt of give me a one
Right.
pager. If I wanted to
Right.
just go back to this agent and say, hey, like I don't like this paragraph structure, give it to me all in bullet points, I could go and edit that prompt to look like that. If I want to say, hey, actually, I want it in
Right.
tabular format, I could prompt it that way as well. There's a lot you can do, but this is great as like a starting point.
I love it. That's freaking awesome. Well, what we'll do if it's okay with you, whatever you're okay to share. If I don't know if you want to share the links to your stuff or not, like to the agents, I should say. But
Sure,
I'll make
yeah.
sure I'll put in for the show notes so people who listen can know. I'm going to put in obviously the website, the boot camp links. I think it's awesome. And then any of the links to the agents you showed off today, I would love to
Yeah,
be able to show that because I think people would love that.
definitely. Definitely.
And are you okay if I share your LinkedIn as well? Because I'm sure people would love to
Of
connect with
course,
you.
absolutely. I'd love to connect with folks if they have questions for me, if they want to chat, if they want to say, hey, I tried this agent, I loved it, or I hated it, or I want to build one of my own, bring it my way.
I love it. Well, Dannielle, I really do sincerely appreciate you taking the time because obviously you're a busy girl, but you've always been so helpful, and the entire team is just awesome at getting back to me and helping out and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to say thank you for all you guys have done. I think MindStudio is a killer tech. So if you haven't played with it, you absolutely should. And whatever I can do to help support you guys, I'm happy to. So I'm excited to see all the new stuff. It's be fun.
So appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, John. This was so much fun. Let's definitely do it again. I'll bring back even more
Yes,
goodies.
I love it. Let's do it. You'll be one of my regulars. We get the new stuff. You come and tell me. We'll
I
do it.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it. Sounds good. That
cool.
way we won't let you miss any of the features
Oh,
that you're dying
I
for.
know. I
Right?
got my business stuff. There you go.
I
Thank you,
know.
dear.
Even
Appreciate you.
there's stuff in there that guarantee I don't even know about. It's amazing.
Uh,
The rate
it's
of the
amazing.
pace is just, yeah, like you said, it's insane.
Well, you are amazing. Tell them meet you in the team
Thank you.
high and just appreciate you.
Will do. Thanks, Jonathan.
Hey,
Bye.
bye.